All right, so get this. Today's deep dive is gonna be about AI. But not just any AI. We're talking about the kind that can juggle a bunch of different tasks at once, like having a whole team of experts in one package.
Yeah, it's wild. OpenAI actually just dropped this article last week on October 10th. It's called Orchestrating Agents, Routines, and Handoffs. And it's all about how these large language models are getting way better at handling all these crazy complex processes, which, let's face it, is how most things work in the real world.
For sure. So we're moving away from that robot following one command thing, huh? It's more like AI starting to think more like us. So give me the rundown. What's the core idea they're presenting here?
Okay, so picture this. You have a team of AI agents, but each agent, they're like a specialist. One might be incredible at customer service, right? But then another one, it just excels at processing refunds. You got another one over there handling tech support like a pro. They all have their own kind of zone of genius.
Okay, I'm already liking where this is going. It's like assembling an AI dream team. But how do they all work together, without causing chaos?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's where the magic of, well, not really magic, but the magic of routines and handoffs comes in. That's what makes this whole collaborative AI thing actually work.
Okay, so we're diving into the buzzwords from the title now. First up, routines. It sounds kind of self-explanatory, but what's it mean in the AI world?
Imagine like a flowchart for the AI. It guides it step by step, right? So think of it like, I don't know, a recipe for baking a cake, except instead of a cake, it's for solving customer problems. And each step in that routine, it tells the AI what to do and what kind of tools it needs to use.
So it's more than just a bunch of canned responses. It's like giving the AI a framework to make decisions.
Exactly. Let's say a customer messages in with a problem, right? The AI, it can follow its little customer service routine, you see, figure out what's going on, what can be done, maybe offer a refund if needed. It's all guided by this roadmap.
Wow. Okay, so it's like the AI has these guidelines, and it's figuring out the best path to take based on what the situation calls for. That's way more sophisticated than I initially pictured. But what happens when it runs into a problem that's outside its area of expertise? That's got to be where the whole handoff thing comes in.
You got it. Imagine a relay race. Okay, let's say a customer, they start off asking about a product. So our sales assistant AI jumps in, answers some questions, maybe even helps them place an order. But then the customer mentions they need a refund for a previous purchase.
Sounds like a job for the refund agent. But how does the AI even know when to make that switch? It's not like it can yell across the room and be like, hey, a little help over here.
Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting.
Yeah.
These AI agents, they're designed with something called transfer functions built right into their code. And these functions, they act like triggers. So if a customer mentions, let's say, the word refund, the sales assistant AI, remember it's analyzing everything being said, it'll pick up on that keyword and boom, activates its transfer them function.
So it's literally calling for backup based on these little cues in the conversation. That's pretty slick. But hold on, we're talking about handling customer service, processing refunds. That's a lot of specialized knowledge. How do they even program all that expertise into these agents?
Well, that's the really cool part. They're using OpenAI's function calling features. It's like, imagine giving the AI this toolbox, right? And inside you have all these predefined actions it can take. These actions are like tools, and each tool is designed for a very specific task.
Okay, so instead of programming every single response, they're giving the AI the building blocks to figure it out.
You got it. The AI learns which tool, which function to use, based on how that conversation is going.
All right, I think I'm starting to get it, but we're still kind of talking about individual agents here. What's a thing that connects them all? How do they share information so the customer doesn't have to repeat themselves every time they get transferred over?
That's such an important point. It's not just a simple transfer, you see. When a handoff happens, the new agent actually gets the entire conversation history, so they have full context and can pick up right where the last agent left off.
Whoa, so these AIs are like actually having a conversation, passing the baton back and forth seamlessly? That's wild.
It is. And that's what makes this approach so powerful. We can create these super specialized AI agents, but still keep that conversational flow going. It's like having a whole team of experts ready to help at a moment's notice.
This is honestly blowing my mind. Like, we're building this ultimate AI squad, each member with their own special skill set, but working together like a well-oiled machine. But how much further can we push this? Could we have a whole network of these AI agents, each one like hyper-focused on a tiny niche?
That's what's so exciting. The possibilities are kind of off the charts. The article actually even gives an example. They're talking about a system with 3 agents.
Yeah.
You have your triage agent, your sales agent, and then the issues and repairs agent.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. I'm picturing a whole army of AI specialists. So how would this three-agent system, how would it actually play out in a real situation?
All right, so let's say you're the customer, right? You reach out to this company. The triage agent, that's your first point of contact. It's like the greeter. And its job is to just quickly figure out what's going on, ask a few questions, and then boom, based on your answers, it routes you to the right department. Kind of like, a triage nurse in a hospital.
No more getting bounced around from department to department. I like it. That's got to be a win for both sides, right? The customer and the company?
Exactly. It streamlines everything. So
Yes.
let's say you mentioned there's a problem with a recent purchase, right?
Yeah.
The triage agent, using those transfer functions we were talking about,
Yeah.
it would be like, okay, this is a job for the issues and repairs agent, and seamlessly hand it off.
And the issues and repairs agent, would it already have all the tools, all the knowledge to handle that specific kind of situation?
Exactly. It might have access to a function like lookup item to quickly check purchase history, or even process refund if that's what's needed. Based on how the conversation's going, the AI knows which tool to use, just like we were talking about before.
This is honestly making me rethink everything I thought I knew about AI. But what happens if something comes up that none of those agents are equipped to handle? Like, what if the customer just really wants to talk to a human?
That's a great question. And they actually address that in the article. Remember the transfer functions. You can design one for that too.
Wait, are you serious? The AI can recognize when it's over its head and basically call in for human backup? That feels like a whole different ballgame.
It is. They actually use the example like an escalate to human function. So if the AI picks up on certain keywords or phrases that suggest, okay, we need a real person here, it can trigger that function and politely step aside.
Okay, wow. Now that is next level. But even with all these routines, all these tools, a part of me is still wondering, how does this system actually learn? How does it become so adaptable to these complex situations? What's the secret ingredient there?
It all boils down to how these large language models, how they learn. They're trained on mountains of data, which allows them to really understand language, context, even human behavior to a certain extent.
So no magic, just really, really advanced pattern recognition.
Exactly. And the more data they're trained on, the better they get at navigating these conversations, understanding the subtle things, making smart decisions based on what they've learned.
Okay, that makes sense. The article also mentioned this thing called swarm, which sounds, I don't know, even more intense. What is a swarm? How does it all fit in here?
Perfect segue.
Yeah.
Remember how we were talking about scaling this whole thing up? Dozens, maybe hundreds of these specialized AI agents? Swarm is basically the next step.
So instead of a team, it's like a whole army of AI.
You got it. Think of Swarm like a library, okay?
Yeah.
It has the tools, the principles for building and managing these massive interconnected networks of AI agents. It's about creating a kind of collective intelligence where all these individual agents are working together, sharing information, and solving complex problems as this powerful unit.
That is both incredibly impressive and intimidating. But are there any real-world examples of this swarm in action? Or is it still mostly a cool concept?
It's still early days. Swarm, as a specific library, we're not really seeing it out in the wild just yet. But what's got everyone so fired up is the potential applications. That's what's really captivating everyone's attention.
Okay, you've piqued my interest. Give me a sneak peek. What could this look like in action? Paint me a picture.
All right, imagine you have a huge online retailer, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're using Swarm to power the customer service. But instead of a few agents, they have dozens. Each one is hyper-specialized. So you have one for billing inquiries, another one for tech support, returns, you name it.
So a customer could get help with any issue, no matter how specific, without having to wait on hold, without being transferred a million times. That's incredible.
That's the idea. This Swarm, they could handle tons of customer interactions all at the same time, route inquiries to the right place instantly, and provide this super personalized support 24/7.
All right, you've convinced me on the customer service front. What about other industries? Could Swarm be used for more than just answering questions and solving problems?
Absolutely. Imagine this. Healthcare. A network of AI agents, each one specializing in a different medical specialty. They're working together, assisting doctors with diagnoses, treatment plans, even with, cutting-edge medical research.
Wow, so it's like having a whole team of AI specialists backing up doctors at every step of the way. That could be huge for healthcare.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. Think about finance. Swarm could be analyzing market trends, managing investments, assessing risks, all in real time. or in logistics, optimizing supply chains, predicting disruptions, making sure everything runs smoothly.
It sounds like the possibilities really are endless. But we've covered a lot today: routines, handoffs, this whole swarm thing. Before we go too far down the rabbit hole, is there anything else from the article that really stood out to you? Something essential for our listeners to walk away with?
The article itself, it's pretty technical. But what struck me is that simple analogy of the swarm. It captures the whole essence of this approach. It's collective intelligence, a bunch of individual parts working together to achieve something way bigger than any one of them could do alone.
I love that. And it really makes you think, we can already do all this with just a handful of these AI agents. So what happens when we scale that up? Hundreds, even thousands. What kind of problems could we solve then?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We could be talking about AI systems managing entire cities, optimizing energy grids, even coordinating disaster relief efforts with incredible speed and precision.
Okay, now you're making me feel like we're living in a sci-fi movie. But seriously, this whole idea of orchestrating agents, it feels like a major turning point for AI.
For sure, it's a total paradigm shift. Instead of trying to create this one super intelligent AI to rule them all, we're exploring the power of specialization, of collaboration, of everything being interconnected.
It's funny, right? Even though we're talking about code and algorithms, it all comes back to that very human idea of teamwork, leveraging each other's strengths to achieve something bigger together.
It's true. And I think that's a really powerful message for anyone interested in this whole AI thing. It's not about replacing humans. It's about building machines that can work with us, augment our abilities and help us solve some of the world's toughest challenges.
Yeah, it really is both incredibly exciting and a little bit, intimidating too, knowing that we're right on the cusp of this whole new world of AI.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is both of those things. But I think that's also what makes it so captivating. We're just scratching the surface of what this technology can do. And it's on us, to guide it in a way that ultimately benefits everybody.
Absolutely. And I feel like this article from OpenAI, it's like a sneak peek, right? One possible path forward for AI where it's all about collaboration and having these specialized roles.
Totally. This whole orchestrating agents thing, it really has the potential to change everything. I mean, from customer service to healthcare to even these huge global challenges.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you really start to think about it. We've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive, but before we wrap things up, is there anything else you think our listeners should really walk away considering? Any final thoughts on where this technology could lead?
The article itself, it's pretty technical. A lot of focus on the how, right? Designing these systems, routines, handoffs, the actual code. But what I always find myself coming back to is the why. Why are we even building this? What kind of future are we hoping for with this technology?
It's easy to get caught up in the details and kind of lose sight of the big picture. So yeah, I'm with you. The why is crucial. What do you see as the driving force behind all this research, all this development?
For me, it comes down to this. AI has the potential to do so much good in the world. It could help us solve problems that have been around for centuries. We could improve people's lives in countless ways. We could even push the boundaries of human knowledge and what we're even capable of creating. But to get there, we have to move past this idea of AI as a replacement. We have to start thinking about it as this powerful tool for collaboration, for augmentation, for solving problems together.
I love that way of looking at it. It's not man versus machine, it's man with machine, right?
Yeah.
Working together to build something better.
Exactly. And that's what I hope people take away from this conversation. We're entering this new era of AI, and it's up to all of us to ask the tough questions, think about the ethics of it all, and ultimately steer this technology toward a brighter future for everyone.
Beautifully said. It's a future full of possibility, and I'm excited to see where it takes us. That's our deep dive for today, everyone. Thanks for joining us as we explored this fascinating world of orchestrating agents, routines, and handoffs. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep your minds open to what's possible in this ever-changing world of tech.